4 o'clock. Is this better? Can y'all hear me? Is this okay? A little closer like this? Just move it up just a little like that. Be good. Make sure I do this so I don't hear. I tend to do that. My wife has advised me to make sure I keep this here so y'all can hear me. I'll call this meeting to order. Get a roll call, please, Betsy.
Susan Judd, Present. Joe Kaiser.
Here.
David Nebel.
Present.
Ron Page.
Here.
Tony Stolzman.
Here. I'd like to take a moment of silence, please. Okay, now for the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by David Nebel and seconded by Joe Kaiser. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? And it passes. Approval for the amended minutes of February 17th. Sorry. Minutes needs a signature. We've already approved those. So we just need to have a signature on this. Is the original here, correct? Okay. Yeah, I got that one. Okay. And now for the approval for the minutes of the March 17th monthly meeting. If we had time to read it.
Is there a motion for the February 17th?
Well, do we not approve those last time and,
You wanted to change on, they changed the order.
okay, do you want to make, okay, we can do that.
I wasn't sure.
Is there,
I put it in the fall of what the
I'm satisfied with that too. Does anybody want to make a motion to accept the corrected February 17th minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Any second?
I second.
A motion made for the minutes to be approved from February 17th by Joe Kaiser, second by David Nebel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now for the March 17th minutes. Any time to read those if you haven't. February 17th. Is there a motion to approve the March 17th minutes?
We've got two copies here.
How many of them?
One's amended.
One's in February, one's March. Or are they both March?
Corrected minutes and unapproved minutes. I thought that's what we just, excuse me, I think that's what we just approved, wasn't it?
corrected minutes is what he signed.
Corrected minutes?
Is that what we just approved?
The February ones.
February 17th.
February 17th.
Oh, okay. I'm on the wrong one. March.
March. It's already April.
What happens when you get old? I make a motion we approve March's minutes.
You have a second?
Second.
And Motion to approve the March 17th minutes by David Nebel, second by Ron Page. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Do I need to sign this one, the original? Pass this on there. There you go. All right, we will now open the mic up for property owner discussions. Please hold it to 3 minutes. If there's anybody who would like to step up to the mic. And looks like nobody will do that. So we will further move on to the general manager's update. Betsy.
Just Saturday, we had our annual 2025 Cherokee Village Property Owner Tournament. We had 18 teams to participate. We only had one that fell out over the changing date. It was postponed for a week due to weather and flooding issues. I think it was a really nice day, and the majority of everyone that spoke to me said they had a really good time. So that's something we've done now for our third year, and I think it went on really well. That is not an income-producing tournament. That's a tournament that we give all the money back in prizes and payouts, so there's no income that's made for that tournament. That's the fall ball tournament that we do to raise money for the golf courses. Second thing on the agenda is the April floods update. I wish I had more numbers in today. Of course, you know, a lot of contractors came through last week. The tennis court was substantially damaged with the lighting, the concrete, the erosion that was underneath it, which kind of broke the tennis court all the way down. I think that from what I understood from the adjuster, that it will be considered a total loss. So hopefully that will give us the opportunity to come back with something much nicer than what we've had. The North Maintenance Shop took on 7 feet of water. It wasn't until Monday after the flood that we were able to get inside, and of course when the doors are closed and the water goes down, all it leaves behind is mud. Walls, insulation, lots of tools were damaged or lost from it, but they were smart enough to get the least equipment out of there. They got their mowers and all the big stuff up here to higher ground, so that was a great job on the maintenance team and all of that. They came in on Monday morning and they haven't missed a beat. They've been working hard to get things back in order, and we have a few areas. We had 3 greens that were affected. We had a couple of drag marks across 10 and 18. But for the most part, the course did really well to handle the amount of water and the mud and muck that it leaves behind. We will be writing up something for repairs with the assistance of a couple of professionals for what it'll cost to get them back in shape. And of course, we'll do that work in-house with their direction. So that will help us save some money on the downside of it. This was the only area that was affected, other than the lower campground. Luckily, we didn't have anything down there, but it looks like a ginormous sandbar now. So, haven't had much activity down there. You know, we really spent our time there to fix that up for the eclipse, and then we just haven't had much camping going on down there. But it is a ginormous sandbar, and once we get past some of this other stuff, we'll go down there and see if we can get access back down there for people to at least tent camp and fish. Upper Base Heart, the water stopped before it reached any of the buildings or the bathhouse. No other damage there. The pontoon going over the spillway at Thunderbird, 18-foot pontoon that cut loose. It's still sitting there right now. The engineer came out last Friday and said he will write up something that we'll give to the insurance company on how it needs to be removed. You know, the three things they're always concerned about is the gasoline, the battery, and any oil that would be, you know, in the engine. At this point, we're pretty sure all that's gone. The engine was still there, but it's trapped underneath there, so regardless of what Bridget's had in it, so they've gone out there to stow and stuff, there's no way to get out there to it and carry anything away from it. So everything that was there was still there. We've been in contact with the about 85% done, and the maintenance guys have gone in behind them, and they're working on trying to get it finished. Our goal right now is a month from today. That's what we've said. We can work it in with weather and other stuff coming into season. If we can get the miniature golf open before Memorial Day, then we feel like that would be a huge thing, and it looks really nice out there right now. So that's the updates I have.
All right, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead, Ron.
Forgive me, I may have misunderstood, but the property owner tournament, I thought you said that was the third one that we've had?
Just since that we started having them again on. We used to have them for years and years, and then they stopped, and then COVID came. So this is the third one we've had since we brought them back.
That's why I thought that maybe we ought to clarify that for these nice people, because I played in a bunch of them, and I hadn't got to play with any of them since somebody said I needed to be a commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks much.
Really hadn't stated I wasn't going to make one, but I would like to say thank you to Betsy and the staff and any of the volunteers. I know Susan was volunteering, and I know there's some other volunteers for the golf tournament. It was a very good golf. I got to play in it. David got to play in it, and it was I know some other people out here got to play in it. It was a really good time, and I'd like to thank you all for that. It was a good job.
Great volunteers and sponsors.
Yes, we had and some sponsors too. We had some great sponsors, and I'd like to thank them for that, for all the prizes that they supplied. And with that, we'll move on to old business. We have some amended bylaws that are attached for review and final signature.
I did that in the bold as well, so you can
Okay.
see it's on page 2 where y'all requested the changes.
Right. One of the ones we voted on was the chairman voting. Was that was not, that is,
No, what's your amendments, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
On page 2,
Page
it's
2.
about where you live, aren't they in bold?
so property, see, the whole property owner may self-nominate, property owner.
So it's going to be C, nominations, number 2, and highlight it says a property owner may self-nominate.
Got
It
that.
should say a resident, and then in number 4, it says they must remain a property owner, it used to say they must remain a resident, and then if they should sell their property, it used to say if they move, then they would forfeit their seat as commissioner. Those were the changes that y'all requested.
Right, correct. But the other one we amended was the chairman voting during the meeting.
Well, that wasn't actually in this particular section, it was in a previous section that was an attachment, and it never said that the chair couldn't vote, but I agree, I believe that we should have some terminology that clearly says who can and can't vote, and
Right.
there's no question. But that wasn't part of this bylaw that y'all voted on. So I
Okay.
can bring that for the next meeting if you would like.
Okay. And then we just need to sign this, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, is this the part that we need to read this 3 times before it?
No, we do not, according to the lawyers.
So
Okay.
is that one of the questions that we address?
May I speak?
About what the lawyer said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what he explained to me about the concerns of people saying that, it must be read 3 times. We are not a city, we are not a government, and it's not in our bylaws. What our bylaws say is that it's read twice. He suggests, because it has been discussed the first time by Susan, not being on the agenda, the second time was the last meeting when y'all made the vote. Today would be really the second time, because the first time it wasn't on the agenda, and then he suggested that it be read next month's meeting as well. So we're not really required to read it 3 times. It's already been voted on to make the change, but all he suggested was that you read the changes before you sign it, and you read the changes again next meeting.
So we don't sign it now.
You can sign it now.
Okay.
We voted on it the
Since we
last
voted on
meeting,
it,
but you're
right.
gonna read it again the next meeting.
Okay, it was a little different.
Old business again.
Okay, a little different from what they explained to me. They just said that the bylaws, we were able to amend those without, because they are not ordinances that require 3 readings, so I understand that. So what this says is property owner may self-nominate and remain a property owner. They shall sell the property. They forfeit their seat as commissioner. The word resident is taken out, meaning you do not need to be a resident property owner in order to serve on the Board of Commissioners. And that was voted last meeting by majority vote to accept those. Next up is the firehouse lease update. I believe the city council had a vote on this last week. Was anybody there to see the vote, or have we received? Did we receive
I forwarded you the email.
email?
from
That email that we had?
I forwarded that to you earlier.
Bring that email. I've got it pulled up to it. The City Council at the regular meeting of April 17, 2025 unanimously voted to reject the fire station lease as written. They voted to enter negotiations for a nominal fee for the transfer of the 3 properties, Omega, Wakita, and Basehart fire stations to the city. So what they're asking, I believe, is that they'd like to do some kind of a trade or nominal fee for us to lease, deed over the 3 fire stations. If I'm reading that correctly?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
That's the way it reads. It's not real clear, but that's what I gather from it, is they don't want to lease them, they want us to give them the fire station.
Correct.
Nominal fee.
Correct.
I replied back to the mayor and just asked for a suggestion. If he wants to negotiate, then they need to present something for us to discuss.
Okay. Then,
I had this crazy thought, would it be possible to have a joint meeting with that city council and with the CID over just the firehouses? Could we do that, or is that legal? So we can come to a negotiation table instead of emailing and paperwork and all that.
back and forth,
Having a working meeting.
a working meeting.
And, I mean, if they would be open for it, I don't know what city rules are, so I don't know what city rules are.
Do what? Well, it'd be a public meeting, yes.
Why
We're not talking-
like you
It'd be-
can come and bring a party?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm all in favor of getting a working meeting that we can talk to them.
I just think it'd be better, it's always better face to face.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you, respond back to the mayor to ask if we could get a working meeting with the council and the SID?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're gonna make that a public meeting, right?
As a public meeting.
Because if there's more than 2 of us, we gotta,
Definitely, yes, it's a public meeting.
And so you will, I guess, need to negotiate a location to do that. Whether it's here or at the city, we can do it at City Hall, it doesn't matter. As long as it's open, I mean, I guess we get it working like that.
Okay. All right. And that concludes old business. New business, comprehensive bylaws. After talking to the lawyers, seemingly we're making changes to bylaws, and we've been, as to talking to the lawyers, with all these amendments and bylaws we keep doing, and we've been working on these bylaws for some time now. They suggested, they advised me that the best thing for us to do is to have a comprehensive set of bylaws, that they be willing to work with us and draft the bylaws, have a working meeting, get all these set and drafted, and the total cost would be $7,500. It is my proposal to do this to hopefully save money in the future against any lawsuits. Hope us give us some more structure over everything, less uncertainty of any rules or procedures, and leading to less lawyer consultation. I think we could eliminate a large amount of our legal fees if we have all these in place, to where we don't have to consistently going back to them for clarifications or for help. It also gives the property owners better information when they want to know what to do, how we handle anything. And so that's my proposal, just as a put up for new business to consider. We could take time to this next month to research it yourself, each one of us research it, and make a determination if you think this is worth it.
I have a comment here.
Go ahead.
We read the Holiday Island bylaws, and the Holiday Island folks are having all kinds of struggles right now with them, and we really do need to really rethink that, not to mention the issues that are currently active and going on at Hot Springs, Bella Vista, Horseshoe Bend, Ozark Acres, and there are others that are having all kinds of issues. If you're a POA, an SID, an MRID, or something similar that's run by the population of the individuals who live there. So we really do need to have some additional work done on what's going to happen for the betterment of the personnel and who work here, the commissioners that are elected, and most importantly, the property owners within Cherokee Village.
Thank you, Ron. I will say, when we adopted these ones from Holiday Islands, the one difference between us and Holiday Islands is that they're a small SID of less than 6,000 lots, and they run by a different code than what we would run by according to Arkansas state codes. So I think it's in our best interest, personally, if we look to get a more comprehensive set of bylaws. And that's just my proposal for us to start thinking about.
Another comment, Tony. Senator John Payton, our senator that represents us, fully supported those comments that I made earlier, because he has been working very hard to support operational law changes for all of the SIDs, POAs, MRIDs, and the very small areas around Little Rock that are just being run into the ground.
Okay. Is there any other comments or any new business that we need to consider?
I would like to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We've been working with Holiday Island because when we started working on Holiday Island back in 2023, 22, that was the best thing we had going for us. And the board at that time agreed to do that. Since then, since January of this year, you have spent almost $3,000 talking to the lawyers. And instead of bringing it out here in public at a meeting so that we could make one phone call instead of almost $3,000 worth of phone calls, for clarity and transparency, I want to know why you were hiding in here instead of just bringing it.
Does this have to do with the proposal for the comprehensive bylaws?
And the bylaws, and you being able to vote, and evaluation of issues presented by Commissioner Stallsmith. That one was $464.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, and this is exactly why I propose these comprehensive bylaws, so there will never have to be consultation from anybody to make these calls to find out anything. I've been transparent in everything I've ever said. I'm not trying to hide anything. I bring it, once I find it out, I bring it to the board.
That's my question, is why did you why did you go to the lawyer first and not bring it up here so that we maybe could have found a more efficient way to present all the questions you had at one time?
Well, I did. I asked about voting the first time, and I was shot down. So that's why I informed the lawyer. I asked the lawyers for their opinion.
That's not really an answer.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I stand by what I did. I did what I felt I had the right to do. I'm trying to do the best I can for the property owners to make sure that we get this all straight, that we know what we're doing up here, and I've needed legal advice.
Yes, sir, you have the right to do that.
Okay.
You do have the right to do
Okay.
that, but the way that we've been doing it has not been bad. And we could have set this at a meeting and gotten all the information together at one time instead of spending $3,000 with you half hour, 15 minutes at a time asking them stuff, and you haven't really told us what they said. You've asked for $335 worth to review and analyze the bylaws.
I didn't. That's what they asked. That's what they billed us when I asked a simple question. That's what they ended up having to do. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, sir, you continue to talk over me.
I said I apologize. You asked the question. You asked, you said I did something, and I'm just commenting on it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I?
Go ahead.
I want to ask a question. So does and I'm just asking out of ignorance, so the commissioners individually have a right to contact the lawyers and ask questions, and obviously ding, they hit the time clock and simply answer the phone. So are we all able to do that? And if we did just willy-nilly do that, we could run up $20,000, $30,000 worth of lawyer fees.
I agree.
Now, if I was a lawyer, I'd be excited about that.
I agree.
I'm a man, ding the bell. But I just don't know if we ought, I think we ought to all, as a group, decide about how much we're going to go, just because of the money involved. Maybe we should go, consolidate our questions down to one or two and then have them try to answer those as a group, instead of just individually picking the phone up and saying, hey, bud, how's so-and-so and so-and-so, and then when you get done, it's another $400. So, money's money, and I know in the big scope of things, $3,000 isn't a lot, but I can tell you what, I wish I had $3,000.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to stand by what I did. I know that we get a $4,500 discount on the bill. Also, what I had to discuss with the lawyers had to do with just us commissioners, our procedures and the things like that. I understand. Once again, my proposal for having the comprehensive bylaws is to make sure that this doesn't happen again, so that we have all these answers here already, and we won't have to go to lawyers and find out the answers to these questions. We could probably already have this written up, and there wouldn't be a need to ask the lawyers. Now, as far as whether I get to do it, we basically got double billed because they also talked to Betsy about it, which I don't understand why they're talking to Betsy, the general manager. There's a lot of things they do need to talk to her about. But as far as, no, hold on, let me finish. Because when it comes to whether the chairman votes or not, that's not Betsy's domain. That's not her jurisdiction. That is a commissioner's jurisdiction. She should not have to be talking to the lawyers about that. That is something we need to talk to lawyers about. She has other things to talk to lawyers about. We have many issues going on right now that she has to talk to them about. What we do as a procedure is our meeting and as a commissioner, or as whether or not a resident or a non-resident can vote, whatever, or can be a commissioner, that is up to us. She has enough to do without doing that. They don't need to be talking to her about it. So we basically got double billed for doing the same work. Well, I know that she asked them about it, and then they talked to her about it, so they should have talked to her about it in two different instances. I mean, I talked.
Excuse me. Excuse me here, Tony.
There, go ahead.
In the past, anytime the commissioner needed to talk to the lawyers because there is money involved, we would call Betsy and explain to her what was going on, what we wanted to talk to them about. Now, you've racked up $3,200 in lawyer's fees. I'm coming unglued here because you're talking, you want to save people money. Here you rack up $3,200 in lawyer's fees. Several of these are review of our bylaws, which we didn't ask for. You asked for. And as the chair, your only job is to lead the discussions here. That is it. You don't make any decisions for the rest of us.
That's correct.
Okay, so you've been going behind our backs for the last month. There's over 13 phone calls here, Tony.
I did not make 13 phone calls. I did not make 13 phone calls. You can highlight them, but I did not make 13 phone calls.
There's one here for $700 and some. That's a review of our bylaws that we've already had done.
Well, evidently they weren't
Why
done
did you
thoroughly.
ask for that? That is something the commissioners as a whole do ask, not you as a single individual commissioner. Commission is majority. Period. The end. Now you're asking us to spend $7,500 more to review these bylaws again and make new ones. So you're looking at over 10 grand that you have willingly said that we are ready to spend.
That's not quite true what you said. I, in fact, contacted the lawyers when we had some personnel issues that were higher than our GM at the time because of some people that came to me as the chairman of the group. And I had to get clarification, legal standings, and I went to a number of different activities before I went to the attorneys, and all they ever said was, you need to talk to an attorney. You need to talk to an attorney. So while Tony went and contacted him, his confusion factor is something that we all probably could have benefited from. Even though we've been through the Holiday Island bylaws, that doesn't necessarily mean we have the correct approach to where we need to go.
Thank you, Ron.
And thank you.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
And if you do want to spend the money to do a comprehensive thing, that's fine. I just think that we do not have a complete comprehensive bylaws. The lawyers obviously think that we don't have it, and I'm not talking, and we have not gone through, there's a lot of things that are not included that need to be addressed, the docs, everything else, all this stuff, anything you can think of, we can put in these bylaws. If you want to spend the money, good. If you don't, that's fine. Vote it down. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I agree.
All I'm doing is making a proposal. You can do your own research. You can decide if you want to do this or not. And if you think this is comprehensive enough, then it's fine. If you don't, then we'll vote on it. That's as simple as that.
I agree with you. We need to do the bylaws. But the way you went about it again is just not right. You should have included all the commissioners in this discussion. That's all I'm saying.
And which commissioner do you want to have removed?
I don't want any commissioners removed. What are you talking about?
One of the questions.
Susan, can you speak in the microphone, please?
I did not question the lawyers to remove any commissioners.
Okay.
I can guarantee you that.
Well, I want to speak just briefly. That's going to be rare for me. But I feel like if it's going to burden us financially or cause us to be financially liable for something, and that means spending money, that as commissioners, we should all agree on the fact that, yeah, we're all up for spending $500 on this or $500 on that based upon our budget, if we have that kind of money to spend. Not just on a spur say, you know what, I'm going to call them. Because every time you talk to the boys, they're going to charge you. Now, the Holiday Island thing, if I remember right, and I'm getting old, my memory doesn't serve me very well, but the old group of commissioners are the ones that voted to accept the Holiday Island paper. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct, yeah.
And I was there when they did it, and they had contacted somebody, including Holiday Island, and at their time, their lawyer, which wasn't these fellows, to find out if that was all legal and all that. And they decided on that back then, and now it's gotten brought up again and been pushed in the mud and shoved around and changed things. They said, no, they just bound us again for another $3,000. And I'm going to say this, as I reviewed the lawyer's ticker tape here of all the bill that they had for everything that's going on. And really, I would encourage the property owners to think about this. I would say 90%, if not 95% of every single thing on that lawyer bill is because of people pushing the envelope on their own behalf. It's having to fight the dock situation where they're like, well, we're not going to settle in court, we're going to sue the pants off of you. We're going to do what we want to do. And so we are defending ourselves, spending thousands of dollars for nonsense. When common sense would tell you, you know what, I'll do something different. I won't do what I think I want to do. And we live in a world where people just up and decide, this is what I want to do. I don't care who I hurt. And that is costing Sid a ton of money. Because everything on this lawyer bill is lawyer fees to defend stuff. And the same thing with the bylaws. It is to defend what had already been there prior, and now we've had to change them. We're going back again. It's like we're chewing a big piece of tough meat that you really wish you could spit out. But I'm just shocked. I know it's the time that we live in, and it's the world we live in. Nobody thinks in common sense terms, and it's a me, myself, and I world. But I'm just going to tell you that's costing Sid a ton of money. And everybody that wants to challenge, and everybody wants to fight, and we could spend the $7,500 to redo this, but I guarantee you it wouldn't be a week till somebody else would come back and we're going to sue you because the wording in this wasn't the right thing. I mean, you can sue somebody because you don't like the way they look. I mean, you can sue for anything. So we're never going to correct the problem. It's going to be a constantly ongoing process of a nightmare. Now, maybe when the new commissioners come in and take over, it'll be a whole lot better. Maybe they can figure out a way to fix it, because that's going to happen at the end of this year. Like I say, my alarm hasn't went off yet. But when they take office, you can bet I'm coming to the meetings, and I'm going to sit back there and be painting your butt, whoever's running. And I'm just telling you, you can laugh, Gerger, but I'm just telling you, you have stirred the pot, buddy, to the point that it makes all of us miserable to even try to do our jobs. And it's not just that situation, it's all situations in this. It's costing us money just to defend ourselves, and it's silly. So I don't care what we do on this other thing. I just wanted to clarify that it was the old commissioners that voted this Holiday Island thing in. That was before we even got here.
It was the best we had at that time.
Right. Okay, so that,
Okay, so our problem, Tony, is that you were behind our backs.
well, this is not part of the new business of comprehensive bylaws. I understand your concern. I've addressed those concerns. I feel justified in what I did. I wish that it did not cost us much, but I'm tired of having to go to the lawyers every time we can't figure out where we stand legally. So my proposal is to do this one last time, and I'm talking about comprehensive as I'm talking about everything, so that we as a commission, not just us, but our future commissioners, our future GMs, everybody will always have something good to fall back on that will keep us, and will eliminate, like he said, most of these legal fees that we have right now. I'd say over 80%, like he said, 90%. I was thinking over 80% we could eliminate had we had a comprehensive bylaws, which we do not have. So, and we have tried to continue to improve on that, but we haven't. So that's my proposal. Think about it. Do your homework on it. whatever you want to do, we come to the next meeting, if you like it, vote it in, if you don't, vote it out. I don't have anything else to say about it, I'm not gonna argue. I don't think we need to be arguing anymore about it, we've already made our statements.
Can I make a motion?
You can make a motion
But I don't know if it'll pass right now, you may have to read it.
about, for what?
I would like to make a motion that if any of us, me, Susan, or any of us, before we contact the lawyers, that we get the overall group's approval before we do that.
Okay, can we do that through,
Phone calls.
can we do that through emails? Or do we have to do that in public?
I would.
Okay.
I don't care. We
All right.
have the meeting, but I think that all of us need to be aware before we financially put ourselves in that position to hire a lawyer.
Okay, Joe has made a motion that before any commissioner calls a lawyer, that he gets the permission from our majority.
It'll have to go in. This will be new business.
We do, we'll do that in a minute, so we'll put that in for all business next time. So it's another proposal. Make that second proposal
Next meeting.
that commissioner, before calling lawyers, gets a majority permission from other commissioners. That'll be your proposal.
Okay, say that in some sentence.
Before a commissioner can call the lawyers about an issue, that the majority of the other commissioners must approve it.
Okay. And just that's fine, you put that in for old business next
Okay,
time.
yes, got it. With that, any other new business?
Well, I would just like to say, you have a budget of $7,500 from the lawyers, and at their average rate per hour, they would only spend 25 hours and 40 minutes to develop comprehensive files.
This is what they said they could do.
I don't believe it.
Uh,
I mean, that's what, there's more than 25 hours worth of stuff.
I'm-
I can think about.
I'm just telling you what they said it would cost.
So are we going to have a budget and have them cut it off at $7,500?
They said it could be less.
Okay.
Okay.
Tony?
Yes, any more new business?
A question.
Yes.
The $7,500, had they already reviewed the bylaws that they were going? Because there's certain
I'm
times in here
assuming-
where they reviewed the bylaws.
I'm assuming they did. I guess they're not, they don't think that they're comprehensive enough.
Okay.
They have been working with us on all day.
Yes. So that was what they advised. I'm just passing that on. With that, no other new business?
Tony?
Yes.
You have a thought. We're supposed to have a committee that talks about the future of Cherokee Village. And I know that Susan was the commissioner that everybody asked to represent us, but we haven't had an update and we haven't had a reasonable picture of what the heck's going on, other than it's limited and not everybody can attend, which I think the people that come to me have been not, four-letter words here, happy. So can you give us an update finally on what the heck's going on?
There is no update to give. This study group meets, and they meet on the first Wednesday of the Runner Storeroom for the first Wednesday of April. We didn't meet. And I sit in the back of the room. The group talks about trying to find ways to increase our revenue flow. There's a couple of them that work on all the financial parts of it. There are a couple of them that work on property engagement. There are a couple of them that work on property engagement. And the group has not come up with a single idea that makes any sense to them, because the group, does not know where we're going to be. They have plans, they have hopes that by the middle of this summer that they've got at least 2 ideas to bring to you. My part of the meeting is to take a note and ask Betsy for something. And that's it. For one thing, when the ballots go out, one piece of information I was asked to find out about was when the ballots go out for the next election can. The study group included a piece of paper about asking for property owners' email addresses, give them a sheet of what amenities they like to use, what would they use, a questionnaire kind of thing to put with the ballots. And I don't think that since the committee met last, that Betsy's had an opportunity to do that. We've had lots of blood to clean up. So the meetings are not meetings. It's a group that sets at the Innovation Hub for trying to get a neutral ground. Because it's a study group, they don't make any decisions. It's not a sanctioned group. It doesn't make any decisions. The part of it was going to be that they were going to come up with ideas and bring them to us.
Which they have not done ever. It's time.
Okay. So it is now an independent study group. It is no longer sanctioned by the SID. Is this correct? Is that what you just said?
It was never sanctioned by the...
Well, we did have a special planning committee, which has been in the minutes for over a year. So that's whatever, but now a study group. Is that correct?
It's been a study group since day one.
No, it's been a special planning committee since day one. And that's been in the minutes. Even Jonathan Rose called it a special planning committee, so.
Okay.
But that was last year, and so if it's now a study group, that's fine. Just to clarify for anybody that has a committee or any committees, any study groups, anything like that, nothing can get passed without 5 of us voting on it. So it's not something that they come up with and it's going to be put in place. It still takes the majority vote of us 5 commissioners. So.
And I'd like to speak, let me just preface this by saying, when I spew stuff out, that's just personal opinion. It's personal thoughts, and you can take that and $1.50 and go buy a cup of coffee somewhere, because it's absolutely worthless. I need to be like the TV show Dragnet, where he said, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And that's what we need to probably stick to, and not interject personal opinion. So I'm wrong for doing that. And that's, but you can lead a horse, but you can't make me drink. But anyway, that's going to be part of it. But Ron, I would like to say this, is I agree, special planning would be awesome. But you have to, as well as I do, you've been on this board as long as I have, there hasn't been a square minute or any time that we could think clearly to do that, because we're always being pushed to the limit, sued or jacked around where you can't really get any work done. And I'm just telling you that, that, I know.
I agree with you, Joe, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the activities that have been promised by us, if you will, as commissioners with this group of individuals.
Okay. All right. Is there any other new business?
Sorry.
That's okay. If there's no other new business, we'd like to open up the floor to the property owners to give you 3 minutes to have their say.
I think I can speak about it. Dave Gruber.
We can hear you.